Beletahunter Productions Publishing. Book Club Recommendations and Excerpt Reading. An agenda will be a brief welcome from me, a platform description about the day's discussion. I will present the book title. I will talk about the book's genre. I will give a little bit about the book as a book description. I will do an excerpt reading, and I will do a summary Q&A wrap up. Welcome to Beletahunter Productions Publishing. My name is Tanya Hunter. I'm the one facilitating this learning today, as well as the one reading the excerpt. I hope that you enjoy this presentation. Thank you. I routinely make book recommendations for a reading. I always like to recommend the books that I've written for you to read. However, I often do other books as well. But for this platform today, it will be a book that I have written. I will do an excerpt reading from the book. I will give you the title and description for that book, as well as your options for purchasing the book if you care to do so. Thank you, and I hope you enjoy. The title of this book is Zoya Tales. We are just beginning. Written by Tanya Hunter. Published March 20th, 2018. This book is a work of fiction. It is a collection of short stories, and it falls under the mystery category. This is the first in a series of mystery short stories to come. This book is a collection of short stories. Some of these stories are from personal experiences, some are from the author's imagination, while others are from vivid dreams. Please read and enjoy. It looks exactly as I remembered. It looked exactly as I remembered it, that broken down rusty truck that can be seen at the bottom of the hill. Yeah, nearly 30 years later, and I find myself back in a town that I swore I would never return. I can still smell the creosote from the wood-burning heater and the smell of mothballs. I want to cry, but I'm all cried out. My eyes are dry and dusty from being fed up. I think I'm still in denial that this is even happening to me. To me, this is not supposed to be happening to me. I got good grades in school. I went to college. I got that good job with the corner office, and I paid my dues. So why am I back here where I started? Well, let me tell you a little story. Way back in the early 60s, I grew up in a small, modest town where everyone knew everyone. The preacher came by, ate dinner with you on Sundays, and the high school principal played poker with your dad. And my favorite Uncle Joe on Fridays? We know what happens on Fridays. This town was like one giant family, like a family with 100 sisters and brothers. Everyone seemed to like. They were very happy. Everybody but me. I was different. I was different like Uncle Joe. I was so different. I wanted the flair and the excitement of a big city. And I made my vow to do just that. Get out of this one horse town. So I did. The first opportunity I got, I left like Uncle Joe did. I left and never looked back. I packed a bag the night of my high school graduation. I kissed my mother and father goodbye, and I left, never to look back. Never again. Never again until now, of course. Yeah, this old truck, smelling like gas, just sitting here with grass grown up to the windows. I wonder how many skunks or squirrels have made their home here. Hmm, how many bugs and critters are here? I guess I'll go up to the big house to put down my bags. That is what we all called it, the big house. Oh, don't look so big now. Big, not just because it was big, but it was bigger than anyone else's house. And big because it was where everyone gathered. They gathered for everything. All of the children played at this house. All of the families played at this house. This was where people gathered before funerals. This was where people gathered after funerals. This was where people came to celebrate. This was where people came to cry. This was the first place people came to announce their engagements, and this was where people came when they decided to split up. So now I'm back here at the big, not so big house. My first night away from that gooseneck nowhere felt like freedom. I felt like a bird in flight. It didn't take me long to settle down in the city. I met a tall, handsome stranger in no time. His name was, well, let's just call him Jim. I should have known he was going to turn out to be a snake with a name like that. But he was fine, and I like me some fine men. And like some of the girls used to say back home, he had him some good hair. Jim and I immediately hit it off and paired up like a bison in heat. He had money, and he knew his way around the city, and he knew his way around my city, if you know what I mean. We immediately moved in together to live what I thought was a good life, at least in the beginning. Jim knew I wanted to get an education, so he told me that I could go to school and he would work and pay all the bills. And when I finished school, I could then worry about finding a job. That seemed like a good idea. So that's what happened. I went to school and he worked. I got a job as a day trader making six figures right off the bat. Whenever anyone would ask me where I was from, I shunned that. I shunned that where you from question. I shunned that where you from questions as if I was dodging a bullet, or like some people dodge their bill collectors. I didn't want to even think of that place, and I talk fancy, so there was no hint in my voice that I was from that country. The only thing was that my politeness would almost give it away, but I passed it off. I passed off my politeness as being shy and not nice. Well, from one thing to the other, Jim left, which was fine because I could take care of myself. The job went out of business, which was fine because I could find another job. Then one day, I decided that the house I was living in was too big for just one person. Since I was busy building a career, never took the time to have any children. So I thought that maybe I could live in an apartment to save some money, then buy a small house later. Bad idea. Never go backwards in lifestyle, losing one job after the other, and finally struggling to pay to live with the cost of living in the city being just too high. The economy was bad, and people were willing to work for anything just to have a job, making it hard for me to demand my salary and just could never get up like I wanted to. Then I decided that since I am all alone, no family, I'm spending all my money living hand to mouth. Why don't I cash out my retirement and go back to the country where I have a house, land, and a broken down truck? So that's it. That's it in a nutshell. That's how I got back here. Being back here seems different though. No, it's not light and bright as when I left. It now seems derelict and deserted. It looks all dry and dusty, a field of dirt. Nothing is growing here, just dirt. Miles and miles and miles of dirt. But the old windmill is still here. Where is everybody? And where are all the people that used to be sitting around drinking lemonade on the front porch? Hmm, I don't see anyone anymore that I recognize. All I see are old boarded up houses and raggedy cars up on blocks. I'm about to get really scared if I see some tumbleweeds blowing past. But the big house is still standing. What is all that junk? I'm smiling as I see old pictures of me in my Sunday's best. Just bringing back memories. Wow, living here back then wasn't so bad. I wonder why I hated it so. Or what was this? Looks like an old airline ticket dated for July 15th, 1975. The name on the ticket says James Robertson. That's my Uncle Joe's real name. Why would there be a plane ticket for him in his trunk? And his old brown wallet all cracked up. What is this? The plastic from the insides were all stuck together. I know he left when I was little, but when? What date? Can't remember. I wonder if Pastor is still around. He and Uncle Joe were very close. They were friends and played basketball together. I could still hear the sound of the ball bouncing on the ground, waking me up early on Saturday morning. Saturday mornings was the only day that I could sleep in. I had to get up early Monday through Friday for school, and on Sunday we were all dedicated to church services from sunup to sundown. But Saturdays I could sleep in. So Saturday was the only time I had to get some rest. But not around here. Not at this big old house. But why was this plane ticket and wallet in this trunk? Hmm, didn't he move away? Oh yeah, I remember now. He moved far away. I remember everyone asking what happened to him. And my other uncle said he was moving to North Carolina with his ex-wife, who was now prepared to take him back, now that he's cleaned up his act. Yeah, so why is this plane ticket and photo ID in here? Who knows? Men are so irresponsible. He probably lost it and forgot where it was. Yeah, see, I'm glad I left. At least he got out. Good for him for leaving this jerk water. Nowhere. Little one horse town. Hmm. Good for him. This old house is drafty. No electricity or heating. So I guess I'll build me a fire and get ready for bed. Tomorrow's a big day. I have to alert the townsfolk that I'm back and I need lights, water, and telephone turned back on. You know, I can't rest. Something doesn't look right. Did he ever leave? I'm talking about Uncle. I'm beginning to. Ah, no way. No way. I don't want to think like that. Just as I continue to look through these old papers, I see bright lights shining in the window. Oh no. Who could it be? My first night back and I'm going to get killed? Oh, wait. I recognize that truck. I recognize that walk. It's Pastor. Hey, Pastor. You remember me? I was just looking through some old papers. I see you found Uncle Joe's wallet and ticket, huh? Said Pastor. Pastor was looking at me kind of strange. Then he said, you always been a smart young'un. So now you know. Joe and I were lovers. He and the pastor was what? And is that why Pastor was looking at always hanging around? A lover's what? That's not true. That's impossible. I could not believe my ears. Pastor looked at me and said, it's true. He wanted to leave me to go back to North Carolina to be with his ex-wife and kids. Wow, I said. I looked at Pastor and said, so what happened? Pastor said that he could not think of living without him, so he hit him over the head. He said that he was prepared to kill himself too when he heard a gurgling sound coming from his throat. Then he realized that he was still alive, but barely. He said, I'm no killer. Even though I hated him so much, I felt I needed to keep him alive. So I tried to nurse him back to health. I was stunned. Then Pastor said that since this house was empty, I left him here. And I'm coming back to check on him like I always do daily. I know I was telling everyone else that he left. No one knew he was here. I hid all of his personal items where they stayed hidden until now. The pastor said people even came over while he was in the basement, but no one knew. He said we even had a party here, and no one knew. I eventually stopped feeding him, but could hear him moaning. It's been a while since I came by here. He is still in the basement. I was thinking to myself, surely I am dreaming. I did not just hear this old ass fart knocker say that the beep. What the beep did he just say? Sure enough, there was Uncle Joe with an unrecognizable face, overgrown face like the weeds around that broken down truck. His fingernails as long as the day. Diet consists of rats and roaches and drinking his own urine. His skin looks old and rough and darkened, and eyes are orange, as I'm sure his body is riddled with diseases. Okay, so why did I come back here? I thought to myself. Now I looked at Pastor and he looked at me. We know what needs to be done now, said Pastor as he lunged toward me. All of a sudden I felt my body getting hot. I cannot tell you what happened next. First thing in the morning, I am going to notify the townspeople that I'm back, and I need to buy some very strong deodorizer for this old, smelly, musty old house. Maybe even some mothballs. Now it's time for some question and answers. Okay, so why did you write this book? Once again, creative imagination, like writing mysteries, who done it, what happened next. But another reason why I wrote a book like this, like I stated before, this is a collection of short stories. I wrote this book because I was doing a workshop and a webinar on short stories and flash fiction, trying to inspire young people to start writing. A lot of young people say they don't know where to begin. So I tell them to start with short stories because it's short and simple, less than 1,000 words, just to get them into the habit of writing. So that was one of the reasons why I compiled several of these collections of short stories because I wanted to do an example for my students to let them see that you can write a short story to try to build up that type of writing, learning how to write, and let that be the first step. Writing a short story. And then you can graduate to novels or whatever you want to do. Or you can just stick with short stories for the rest of your life. It doesn't even matter. So that's it in a nutshell why I wrote this type of book. This is the installment number one, the Zoya Mysteries. For all the Zoya Mysteries books and the Zoya Tale books are collections of short stories. Okay, next question. Who is the intended reader? Once again, I hope everyone who loves to read will find this book intriguing. This book is for anyone who wants to read. It doesn't necessarily have any type of restrictions on this book. The interesting people would probably be young authors, mystery lovers, crime solvers, and just general people who loves to read. Okay, next question. Is there a digital format, audio print version of this book? This book is in print version only. Actually, there is a Kindle version. So this book does have a Kindle version. It does have a print paperback version. It does not have an audiobook. Next question. Where can one obtain a copy of this book? Amazon.com is the best place for you to go right now. Just put in the author's name or the title of the book. You should be able to find it. Thank you for listening to this excerpt today. I hope that you have enjoyed it. Remember to visit me on Amazon.com. Thank you.